Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is your Trevino here, and we have another wonderful guest. We have DeAngelo from Scottsdale, Arizona. How you doing, DeAngelo?
Doing great, bro. How about yourself?
Yes, sir. I've been doing good. It's been a crazy past few weeks, but I'm glad we could connect.
Definitely, definitely. Right on time.
Yes, sir. So for those of us who aren't too familiar with you, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm DeAngelo, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Now a realtor here in Scottsdale and, um, you know, doing a number of things. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and in Cincinnati, I'm curious. When you were growing up, did you have, any idea you wanted to work in real estate, or what kind of led you into the industry?
That's a good question, man. Really, I never had any idea about working in real estate per se. I've always was fascinated with, owning buildings and owning properties and just that whole concept of actually, owning something. But never really thought about, really being in real estate. I really got into it after I got out of college and I came across Mark Whitten on the Breakfast Club, and he talked to me about wholesaling real estate, and the rest was history.
Okay, absolutely. So I'm curious, like, when, it sounded like you got interested with the Breakfast Club, there are a few little things. Was there any kind of, an aha moment when you realized, hey, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, when I heard Mark Whitten say you can make money, buying properties without putting money down, you can get $10,000 from, flipping contracts. That's what got me infatuated with the whole really knowing a way to start into real estate. So, starting with wholesaling and just seeing different opportunities as I kept progressing through my career. So that's really the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm assuming, are you solely active in the Scottsdale market, or do you still work back home, or?
Yeah, so I'm active in Maricopa County from realtor side of things, and also purchasing with wholesale properties, but mainly in Cincinnati with the wholesale investment side of things. So split between those two.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I know Arizona's a pretty good market. It kind of seems like there's quite a few people wanting to go down there to live there.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious, maybe for those of us who aren't too familiar with, Scottsdale, even the Phoenix area, what's the economy like, or what's kind of the layout of the city?
Yeah, this Maricopa County in general, coming from Cincinnati, the biggest thing is just it's so big, but it's also so condensed. Like there's so many properties, so many houses, and then from a luxury market standpoint, there's so many $1 million houses out here as opposed to somewhere in the Midwest like Cincinnati. Um, that's the main thing I see with it. But another thing that caught me by surprise was just the standpoint of the I guess ghetto areas, or like the areas that ain't worth as much like value wise. Like Cincinnati, we got somewhere called Westwood, and is not as much values. It's like under $100,000. You come out here, the areas that aren't good areas are still 200, $300,000 areas. So it's kind of different from that standpoint. That really surprised me.
I would imagine it's like you kind of have to change channels in your head when you're going back and forth.
Right, right. Definitely, you got to put your mind state just in a different frame. As far as it took me some time to really get acclimated to the market out here and really, what areas is what. Uh, Everything is beautiful out here. You don't really know you're in a bad area just for based on how beautiful it is. So, yeah,
Hey, that's not a bad problem to have, living in a beautiful place, right?
no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you kind of mentioned, you touched a bit on the wholesaling. Could you kind of explain what wholesaling is, and kind of, how you can get into it?
Oh yeah. With wholesaling, it's as simple as going directly to the owner, asking somebody if they're interested in selling their property below market value. But you won't say below market value, obviously. You'll tell them, are you interested in selling this offer for the property, knowing that you can sell it to someone else, being your end buyer for, $5,000 or $10,000 more. Um, you can get into it as simple as going to steps to success. My YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel where you can go ahead and check out, what is wholesaling and how to acquire your first wholesale deal, volume 1. There's a whole playlist where I really break it down for you guys. So check that out.
Heck yeah, I really like that. It's one thing to say something, but I really like the educational aspect of it, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. It's definitely different when you I really had noticed that because people would ask me like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I would explain it to them. And it's different when you can say, go check out my YouTube channel because I actually go in depth. You only got so much time and you only can really remember so much in one conversation. So it's definitely good to be a vessel of information for people out there, such as yourself.
Right. Yeah. No,
Oh,
I appreciate it. Thanks. No, I was talking last week to a friend, and it was interesting that he invests in multifamily. We were chatting, and he said one of the most important things he did was he took an online course only about underwriting, right?
mm,
So for me,
mm-hmm.
that kind of opened my eyes and thought, wow, there's kind of an educational aspect here. It's specific and it's practical.
Right, right. Yeah, man. Courses, that's a billion-dollar industry, and it's definitely good to be able to really remove the middleman from the aspect of not having to pay for a certification or go and drive out of your house. You can learn so much just by sitting at home and just the willingness to learn. That's what'll really push you and set you apart in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it saves you time, and
Right.
especially if you have everything, kind of condensed into, your courses, like you're saying through videos. I mean, that sounds a heck of a lot better than having to Google something 30 times, right?
Exactly. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yes. If you could you kind of maybe lay out a bit, kind of what the idea is with your video content?
Definitely, yeah. With my YouTube channel, Steps to Success, I really just giving people the just advice based off my personal life experience. So it's steps to success, but every step is success. So every step towards your journey, every step on your journey to your end goal, that's really a success because without you moving forward, you would never come into or come in contact with anything you deem as difficult. So it's really just a blessing to be on this journey. And I really just like sharing with people my journey and sharing them, my life experience, because as we know, by reading and by listening to other people, we're able to really lessen our learning curve just by, avoiding some of the mistakes that they may have encountered, but also learning from some of the things that they've already done. So that's really my goal with the people, man. I just want to be able to share my journey, share my experiences and efforts to really help people out. And also just inform people about things like EXP Realty and how much of a really game changer that is in the real estate industry, being able to sell properties and receive, passive income just by selling properties the same you would do at any other brokerage. So just bringing people a lot of information, but it's all based off my personal life experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just curious, whether you're already in real estate or you're making a transition into it. When you're starting out in a new market, in a new industry, it can be scary for people.
Mm.
What are maybe some lessons you learned through wholesaling?
Man, a lot of those. Wholesaling, the biggest thing it taught me is to be true to my instincts. So in wholesaling, that something that really intrigued me about the realtor side of things really enough was because I learned so many lessons with wholesaling. So wholesaling, there's no ethics, there's nobody guarding and saying this is right and this is wrong. So you really got to watch who you trust. One specific incident I'll tell you about is I had someone, I was wholesaling a property through the Hamilton County Sheriff's Sale. The property was close to Sheriff's Sale, close to being up for sale, but you can actually purchase it before it goes to the sheriff auction. So I went to the homeowner. I asked him, would you like to sell the property for, I believe it was like 45,000. Ended up saying yes. So we wrote the contract out. Everything was great, cool. And I got the property sold from the standpoint of finding an end buyer, but the someone came about that was from the Hamilton County auditors. So they said they were from the Hamilton County recorder. And they said that I could not sell the property because the owner, and I won't say the owner's name, but the owner was from the VA of Hamilton County. So he said that he didn't want to sell the property to me. He was forced to sell the property to me. So the whole thing didn't seem right to me. So I'm like, wait, who is this person calling me? This owner, I was completely fine with them. We close in the next week. What is he like? What's going on? So long story short, I end up calling one of my mentors in Cincinnati, told him about the situation, asked him about the guy that was calling me, asked if he really worked at the Hamilton County Auditor. He said he didn't know, he wasn't for sure. Then I ended up calling the Hamilton County Auditor, asked them if that person works there. They said they never heard of the person. So then from there, try to get in contact with the owner. He kept screening my calls. The person whom told me they were from the Hamilton County Auditor, I then ended up calling them back, confronting them, telling them I really know you're not from the Hamilton County Auditor. Who are you? So this person finally decides to come clean, but not really come clean. Basically tells me that, hey, look, I work closely with the owner. He feels like you forced him to, to sell the property to you. So I'm here on behalf of the owner to, get him out of the contract, and I'll be able to give you some money for your time, but just give me the contract. So the guy tries to make me give him the contract. I end up not. I end up having to drop the deal because the owner did tell me that he didn't know that I was wholesaling a property, and that's a whole nother thing. But long story short, this all came about from another wholesaler who just wanted to insert themselves in the deal and was willing to say that they worked for the Hamilton County Auditor and was willing to threaten me and tell me that, a whole bunch of things if I didn't drop the contract for him. So it's just really learning not to trust so many people based off anything they tell you, man. You got to really go with your instincts out here. That's really the main thing with wholesaling real estate and being consistent. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess that kind of plays into what you were saying is kind of, staying true to yourself and kind of trusting your gut, right?
No, yeah, man. That's really exactly what it is because I felt something that was off with them. And if I would have been the type of person to say, this person from the Hamilton County Auditor is calling me, oh, I should just give them the contract, then I would have just, done that and not realizing the full scope of things. So that taught me a big lesson. Like, you just don't be so easy and gullible with people in the wholesaling side of business, because like, here's the difference. And the realtor side of the business, if you work with a homeowner and there's a buyer that comes there, you got 45 or 60 days if the contract doesn't go through, where that buyer, if you introduce them to the homeowner, you still get your commission check. And wholesaling, there's no thing of that. People can lie to you, tell you whatever. Homeowners can back out of deals. I mean, I've had my first deal with wholesaling, and I thought I closed my first deal like 2 times, but the seller backed out on me on one, then the buyer backed out on another. So it's being able to be consistent, and the transition in that, makes me a great realtor because I'm able to come in with all this confidence and being able to really know how to maneuver through the sales side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like kind of that old adage, trust but verify, right?
Mm,
So, if someone's calling you and they're telling you that they're with that office, verifying, right?
exactly right.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting lesson, and it kind of goes back to, that's kind of that deep human instinct. That's your gut, your intuition, right? Telling you
For
something
real.
not right.
Trust your gut. I always heard that growing up, man. That's a real thing, that gut feeling you get. I mean, we've all had it. We all have it. It's just about staying true to it, for real.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, when you're wholesaling, you're basically saying that you're purchasing at I guess at a maybe at a discount, and then and then there's the margin, right? And then you're selling it a bit more.
Exactly. You got the basic formula. You get 70% of the ARV, the after repair value, based off comps in the area. Once you get that, you multiply, or you to subtract, the suggested repair amount. So say you got $100,000 property, you would then want to get 70% of that. If the $100,000 is the ARV, then you would take 70% of that, which would be 70,000, and say it needs 35,000 in repairs. You subtract it, you get $35,000 would be your well, actually take that back. 35,000 would be the price that you want to be able to sell it at. So you want to get it $10,000 below that at 25,000, then sell it to your end buyer at 35,000. So yeah. And look at things like that on Steps to Success. I actually have a video called how to calculate your offer for a wholesale deal. and how to contact distressed property owners on Zillow. And I also just started a new segment, Cold Calling with D, Cold Calls to Success. So man, we out here.
Yeah, yes, sir. I like that. And you touched on something interesting as well as the cold calling, right?
Mhm.
Some people would rather have their teeth pulled out than talk to a stranger.
No doubt.
How are you able to how are you able to communicate, with a stranger?
Yeah, man. It's really being being confident in your end result. So it's not even about being confident on what you're saying. It's not even about, being confident about reading the script over 100 times. None of that. Just being confident and knowing that, hey, look, I'm gonna get on this phone. Somebody's gonna sell me the property, then I'm gonna sell it. Just knowing that that's going to happen gives me the confidence to know, get on the phone. When I first figured out about wholesaling real estate with Mark Witten, um, I literally the next day I got on the phone contacting distressed property owners on Zillow, but it wasn't just distressed. There was people that were for sale by owner and asking them if you're looking to sell it a little bit lower by, capturing whether they were 30 days on the market, at least 30 days on the market. So right on there, just called them and say, hey, you want to sell it for this? And I didn't know, how to do a fine ARV or anything like that. I just knew that I could get a wholesale deal because that dude got one. So, I mean, just being confident and knowing that you're no different than anybody else out here. And if you see something you want to do and you know a way to do it, then just do it and know it's going to get done.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of sounds like it's a mix between, kind of having your procedure, but also that mindset too.
Gorilla Mindset, man. That stuff you had sent me, I actually listened to some of that, man. That was a good book. It is a good book. I'm still listening to it. Did you finish
Oh,
all of it?
yes, sir. I finished all of it. I'm glad that you were able to check it out.
Yeah, yeah. I like what his concepts. He really the this positive self-talk, that's a big thing. Just from the standpoint of, we all have this when we do something that we deem as, some type of way, we seem to make it like the whole thing. We look at it like, I'm this way. If I do something that's uh let's just say, dumb for lack of a better word, if I do something that's dumb and I'm like, I'm dumb, and you just say who you are as a person, but that's not true. So just being able to take things and look at it like, he said have positive affirmations, like, I'm getting better as a person. So I listened to some of it, man. I appreciate you sending that book over. It's a great book.
Yeah, of course. And for those, who are listening, who are wondering what the book is called, it's called Gorilla Mindset by Mike Cernovich. It's been a game changer, at least for me and a few friends that like yourself.
No doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious, you kind of talked a bit about mindset. Are there any kind of maybe misconceptions that you had, maybe growing up about money or maybe growing up about real estate that, have kind of changed a bit now that you're in the industry?
It's a good question. um, so growing up, I've literally, from a standpoint of money, I've always viewed it in abundance. So like I've always like from childhood told my friends like, hey, I'm a millionaire. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy that. So just naturally from the standpoint of wanting that, and I came from humble beginnings from my family, but I'm blessed enough to have a huge support system, and it's a blessing for where I'm at now. But when I was younger, it was me and my mom's. So like me and my mom growing up, and me wanting to provide for her, and me still wanting to provide for her pushes me a lot in my life. So, and also my pops. So just really wanting to do for the people I love, that mindset right there is something that drives me every single day because I'm healthy, I'm happy, like God got me. I'm so blessed to be in the position I am. There ain't no excuse for me not to be on my marathon. So that's what I'm on every day.
Yes, sir. That's a beautiful thing. It's one thing to go out there and try to get the accolades for yourself, but when you're working for for other people, for friends and family, that's a great thing.
Exactly right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious as well. You talked a bit about mindset. Which kind of leads me into maybe your routine, right? So I know that you're kind of reading the mindset books, getting your mind right, keep staying sharp. What does a typical day look like for you?
Yeah, man. So I get up. Well, I guess it really my day kind of starts when we going to sleep. So when I go to sleep, right before I go to sleep every night, I write, my what I'm grateful for the day, and things that I accomplished. And I go to sleep, and then I wake up about 6 a.m. and I do the same thing. I do a 10-minute visualization, and then I write what I'm grateful for the day, what I'm looking forward towards the day. After that, I like to take my dog out on a walk. Take my dog out on the walk, man, and then I come back in and I get to work. Then I take a little break. I go and have some breakfast, and then I'll get back to work. And when I'm working, I do my cold calling for a certain amount of hours. So it's like 2-3 hours for a real estate in Cincinnati type of investing. Um, do all that and confer with my team out there, talk with them, and then that's when I take my lunch break and have some nice little lunch. Come back and I'm ready for my realtor side of things. So I get with my realtor side of things, talk with my clients, prospecting, doing everything I'm supposed to do from that standpoint. And then I'm active on social media. Make sure I post at least one time a day on Success Realty Team. That's our team with EXP Realty. So just giving people, tips out there with the real estate investing side of things. Also hipping people to the Phoenix market and everything it has to offer out here. And from that, I'm always thinking about new YouTube videos, and I might go take a hike throughout the day, and that's really it, man. I like to go work out, listen to books. My downtime really consists of things like that and cleaning, and I love to clean, cook, and eat. Yeah,
Yes, sir. No, that
yeah.
sounds great. And I'm curious as well. You talked about the cold calling. One thing I just thought of right now is that you're maybe what time zone is Cincinnati on? Is that Eastern?
Right.
Yeah.
So right now it's 2 hours above us. So like I don't know what it is out here. It's probably like six something out here. So if it's six something out here, then it's eight something in Cincinnati. But in March or whenever it springs forward, I think that's the time. The
Uh-huh.
right there, it'll be 3 hours. So it'll be six out here, then it'll be nine in Cincinnati. So that's something that I like to. It gives me like a good start to my day because nobody's up out here. So that's why I wake up so early. I'm like, man, there's so much time in the day. Why not get out at 6 and I'm able to get my calling in out there? Nobody's up out here until 8-9 o'clock anyway. So that's why.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say, I mean, that's a huge advantage, like, especially if you want to grind, you
Mm-hmm.
be up early, take your dog out, make those phone calls in.
Hey,
And but before you know it, you're done with Cincinnati calls and then it's Arizona time, right?
exactly. You already put it together.
No, that's a great thing. It almost kind of reminds me of kind of important decisions being made on the New York Stock Exchange, right? So
Mm,
things going on
mm,
while people in California are asleep, right?
right. Yep.
So,
Yeah. That's a real thing, and I really had looked at that when I was in Cincinnati, when I was pondering the idea of moving out here. And then I just realized, like, because I was like, man, I love the real estate wholesale process. Like, I genuinely like that process. I'm not trying to just stop the process. Being in a different time zone, I'm like, how is this going to affect it? Then I was like, wait, it's actually a positive thing because people out there can still be asleep, and a lot of my neighbors are still sleeping at that time, so it works.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious as well. I mean, coming from Cincinnati, had you ever been to Arizona before? What was it about the Phoenix area that you liked?
Yeah. I never been, just genuinely wanted to move um out of uh, Cincinnati. So I never really saw myself living in Cincinnati. I had already grew up there. I lived there for as long as I had wanted to. So me staying there was just a matter of, me feeling like I have to. So ended up taking a trip out here in September of 2019. Um, Ended up loving it, did a hike, stayed out here for about 5 days. It was great. And when I was out here, I'm just like, man, I think like it's really time to move. So, the only thing um, I was 20 at the time. So from just me being at that mind frame, I'm like, man, I don't know if this kind of a lot, da da da. But I ended up just deciding to move just because I genuinely wanted to be here. I looked at it like I was at a point in my life that was kind of like a transition. And if I had chose to move into another place in Cincinnati, buy more furniture, get more tied into the area, it'd be easier for me to just stay. So I was like, let
Yeah.
me just move. So yeah, that was
There you go.
it.
I mean, so I guess that's what it takes sometimes, right? It just kind of
Right,
sounds like a leap of faith.
right, for real.
Yeah, but I mean that can be scary for people, whether it's, whether you're going for the first time or you get your feet wet, for a few days and you take a
Mm.
few hikes, but moving across the country to a whole new world.
Yeah, it really is a difference. Being away from your family, growing up. Yes, I got siblings, like things like that that are graduating high school and close like cousins. So being away, but I really honestly realized that when I was living close, that it really doesn't change too much. Like, of course, you see them less often, but even living close, I still have my own life that I was doing. And I think it just when you move far away, you kind of just recognize like those moments that you were close. It's like, okay, we could have spent more time together, but at the same time, it's never a reason to hold your own life back, no matter who may be close with back home or anything, whatever you want to do in your life. At the end of the day, it's your life for a reason. So you might as well live it.
Yes, sir. That's right. No, that I mean that can be scary for people, whether it's, even moving to the town next to yours or even just being in a new job, a new
Yeah.
environment, it can be scary.
Man, like this world, the thing that really like guided me with that is because when we say scary, it's thinking of a fear mindset, as we always talk about, and I'm looking at faith over fear. So it's like the scaredness part of it per se was just the unknown part of it. You just like how is it going to be? But if moving with faith, then you good because it's a new journey. It's a new chapter to your life. The past chapter isn't over. You still can always rewrite the book. So you good.
Yes, sir. That's right. And now you're in the Arizona chapter.
No doubt. No doubt. Yes, sir.
All right. And I'm curious as well, what you kind of talked about, your selling you're doing now, a few of your interests, maybe the lifestyle in Arizona. What are you looking to do in the future?
Yes. So with me in the future, man, I'm really excited about growing Success Realty team. So really that I'm excited about growing Success Realty team to have agents in multiple uh, states, multiple cities, like multiple sides of really the country, just from the standpoint of EXP Realty is expanding so much. But just to stay national, if you think about it like this, the EXP Realty provides a vehicle for you to be able to be virtual. So this is why I chose EXP Realty, is because with my wholesaling side of my business, I always just from getting in, I never wanted my time to be dependent on a place. So my time, my money, like the way I make a living can't be dependent on me always being there. I always looked at it from a broad scope of things. So if you look at it like that, you're able to create a business mindset just because you're able to at it soon as you start, you take a step back and you just realizing how you work yourself out of all your positions. So just being able to do that side of things, realizing that EXP Realty provides that same vehicle because I'm able to put systems in place for my agents to, get properties listed, get deals. And, with EXP Realty, you get a revenue share from the sale of the property being the 80-20 commission split. So it's never taken away from the agent that's under me. It's taking a percentage of the 20% that you give to EXP Realty being the brokerage. So with me doing that, then my agents that are under me, I'm dedicated and motivated by their success. So me being able to make them successful makes the whole team successful. So me being able to make sure they have a brand, whether it's, Aaron Trevino brand, if that was your brand or your team, Aaron Trevino team, I would dedicate and make sure my time is fully invested to show you how to build your team. That way we both can be winning because as long as you winning, I'm winning. And also it requires me not to be in one place. So like I said, even with, Phoenix, Arizona, I like the area out here, but my mindset is having agents out here from the standpoint of they're working my deals. So, if I'm giving you a deal, then we'll split that 50-50 and then you'll be able to I'll be able to get a revenue share split from the company. And that's, anywhere I have agents at. So, I mean, that's where I'm at right now. That's what I'm about right now. So just really working that day by day, day in, day out. And a lot of things, man. A lot of things, bro. I got a lot of things planned and I'm really blessed. Just keep moving step by step for real.
That's right. Step by step. That's what it takes, right?
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, no, that was a great explanation, D'Angelo, because at least on maybe on Facebook, on Instagram, even just word of mouth through the grapevine in the real estate community, it kind
Mm,
of seems like everyone's talking about EXP,
yes.
right? But
Yes.
I personally, didn't know too much before about the company.
Yeah, man. That's really my my mindset. Just because I remember I had asked you about what brokerage you were with, and we had discussed that. And I'm not sure everything that they offer, but as we both know, when you're selling your properties, and that's what made me more inclined to think about being a realtor, is because I one of my clients that I'm actually in the process of working with out here faithfully. This will be my first listing, but he's a guy who's 85 years old and he's in the insurance. He worked in insurance. So he told me, I told him my age, and he was like, you starting out at, as a 22-year-old man in this business, you need to make sure that you're putting up for retirement. And I was like, I agreeing with them. And I do have a self-directed, retirement plan, 401k. So I have that. But he was like, the thing about real estate is that it's a transaction business. So in real estate, you move through one transaction and you're done. Versus the insurance industry, he told me, and I never knew this, that you get rewards on the back end, and you're able to get money on the back end that's reoccurring income over the course of your lifetime. This is an 85-year-old man, in a great position, owns a lot of rental property and things like that. That's telling me he's living off his insurance company money that he still gets every month. So I just, it clicked to me, and I was just like, it was really, it was like a sign from the universe that I'm really on the right direction, because EXP Realty, that was really my mindset, and being able to transition, and why I believe I'm got a different type of enthusiasm and a long-term vision on the realtor side of things is because wholesaling is a transaction business. Even at a lot of other brokerages, it's a transaction business. You're working for your broker versus you being able to invest back into yourself over the long run and build a business based off doing what you're already doing. This guy was selling insurance. Like, that's what I'm thinking he was going to do no matter where he worked, no matter if he sold cars. He was a salesman. That's what he liked to do. But he said insurance was that, because for him, it was being able to have reoccurring income as an 85-year-old man that was talking to me just a couple of days ago. So it's the same thing here, man. It's like being able to have that reoccurring income and not just think about wholesaling being transaction. The money's great with wholesaling. We all know that. Like, you see huge checks. I was able to build a lifestyle, and be able to maintain myself at 19 years old from wholesaling real estate, and, move from Cincinnati to Scottsdale. That was all from wholesaling real estate. So I'm thinking on bigger levels to be able to, like my guys that's in my downstream with or my upstream with EXP Realty is guys like Brent Gove, Don Yoakum, um, Russell Einhart, these Amir Yankovic, like these guys are guys that's making $50,000, $100,000 a month passive income from the agents they have under them. Not to mention they're at the, like, I can call Russell right now. It's like an hour behind in California. He'll answer and like, hey, D'Angelo, what's up? Like, what do you want to do? Like, he's always dedicated to me growing as a person. And the beautiful thing about EXP Realty is anybody that joins my downstream, they will have those people at the it's the fingertips, as far as being able to dial and connect with them. My first time getting in, I had an excellent meeting with Don Yoakum, who gave me the idea to be able to start a mastermind that you joined and that we're in, from the standpoint of connecting with one agent in each county whom is also an investor, and being able to connect with them, and also have self-directed IRA plans and retirement plans and hard money lenders, lawyers, and attorneys all under one umbrella, to be able to connect with everybody. So he gave me that idea, and this was like 2 weeks in me being up under him, and I'm now putting it into fruition. But like, now I'm about to meet with him on a weekly basis and talk about how to grow this mastermind that I'm building. So it's, man, the opportunity is endless, bro. So yeah, definitely talk with me more about that if you're interested to get more information.
Yes, sir. No, that is interesting. And I'm
Yes,
curious
sir.
as well. I know you mentioned the IRA account.
Yeah.
How does that kind of play into real estate?
Definitely. So, being able to, it's really any type of industry. So, your IRA, you can purchase things inside of that and grow it tax free. So, being able to grow your money and not have it taxed, but you can't take it out and like spend it, you'll be taxed at that point. So it really goes into any type of asset class that you're looking to purchase. So it's just more ways to grow your money. So one thing that's interesting enough, to go back to the previous question you asked me, as far as just my what I saw about money growing up and all these things, what changed my mindset about money initially was Rich Dad Poor Dad. So me learning how to make money work and grow my money and just a whole bunch of other things from Robert Kiyosaki, that's what really taught me just the what it means to really have money and grow money. Like nobody around me close to me was teaching me things about money, other than save your money. But it was never save your money to invest it. It was never to just all the different things that I've now learned about money. And I don't know, your financial background, but it's like a lot of people that I've met, it's kind of been a similar thing as far as like them growing up. This wasn't like they were taught, how to do these things with money, but that's why we're learning it. That's why we're on a path. And that's why, for me, I'm being able to teach people how to make money, but it's definitely a big transition of mine as I learn more. Like I said, steps to success is based off my personal life experience. So as I learn and as I grow, my audience will continue to learn and grow. So subscribe today.
Yes, sir. That's right. I like that. You're offering that good value, and you're telling your story and providing good content.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No doubt. I
Yeah,
appreciate that, Aaron.
and I mean that was a great explanation of EXP as well. I didn't know all of those things about kind of how the model works.
Right. I mean, you got guys that's, like I said, making six figures a month from, their revenue share being the agents that's under them, but also they have a lot of revenue that was taken off the top from their commissions that is now grown with the stock that's now worth hundreds of $1,000s as well. And this is like, it's like, why not? Like, why would you just want to continue to I was, if you watch what is EXP Realty, it's one my first video I did about EXP Realty, just did it 2 weeks ago, but I interviewed a fellow EXP Realty agent and he told me that he was at Remax Realty. So he told me at Remax, he was a no-brainer for him to eventually join EXP Realty. He was being recruited by an agent for Keller Williams. The agent for Keller Williams was telling him, I have this, that, and the third. If you're familiar with the Keller Williams model, you know what they can offer. So she was telling him everything that she could offer, but he chose EXP Realty once he figured out pretty much everything that I said. And he said, he figured out that it's better, to be able to, than having your broker say, hey, good job at selling a house, go sell another one. So it's better than that. And what interestingly happened was that the agent that was recruiting him from Keller Williams joined EXP Realty like 2 or 3 months after he joined EXP Realty. Honestly, that just goes to show that like everybody, it's just the word is just getting out more, and the word is getting out more, and people eventually will catch on as people do. But getting in right now while they're at 43,000 agents and expanding to new markets, once you sell your first property with EXP Realty, you get $400 in stock. Like, come on, man. Yeah.
That sounds like a sweet gig, huh?
Yeah, man. And like that's the dope part about it, is because there's full grown, like I said, that woman, she was with Keller Williams. And with Keller Williams, you have your own, it's really like a brokerage. So it's a team, but it's like a brokerage like at Keller Williams because it's all separate offices. So she moved her whole brokerage to EXP Realty. The whole brokerage moved to EXP Realty. So like that just goes to show that with EXP Realty, there's whole brokerages that are moving here, in the form of teams, uh, but like they're doing it for a reason. And it's just, look into it, find out the reason. And if it aligns with you, then book a call with me on Calendly. I would love to speak with you more.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, D'Angelo, is there anything else you haven't said that you'd really just like to hit home?
Well, man, really the biggest thing for me over this past year or so, I was just talking to one of my close friends because I was off of social media. I was off of social media completely. I had to take time to really transition with my life. I was, college athlete and all these things, and football route I just wasn't interested in no more. So I decided to walk away from it. And I realized that 4 hours a day, I'm scrolling through social media, I'm scrolling and I'm doing nothing with my life. My father ended up coming to me with the idea, saying, you're great, whatever you do, maybe we should get into starting a t-shirt business. And, that put me in a wave of entrepreneurship, the mindset of entrepreneurship. I got off of social media because I realized that in this social media era that we live in, there's only two type of people. There's consumers, people that's consuming content, and then there's producers, people like me and you that's producing content for people to watch. And it's really that simple, because what's happening right now, for the people that's watching is that as you're scrolling through social media, as you're having conversations with your friends, as you're talking about, eating at this cafe, Starbucks, if you're talking about buying some Nike shoes, what's happening is the data providers are realizing that, you're a commodity, and they're going to show you everything that you're talking about. So they're going to show you, the Starbucks that you were talking about. They're going to show you the shoes that you were talking about, and they're going to trigger you to buy those items because you're the commodity. You're being sold. So if you don't take advantage and, grab hold of your attention and focus it on something that's going to benefit you from the long line, then you really are losing, because this generation, this is a gold rush. There's never been a time like this at all in any generation. So, me and Aaron, we're taking advantage of it. You make sure you get on the wave too.
Yes, sir. Well said. Very, very, very well said, man. There's so many things to unpack there. It's really exciting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I'm excited to be able to, grow in our relationship, to grow and talk with you more, man. I'm gonna have to get you on an episode of Flipping Success or something, man. We definitely gonna have to connect more and do more things together, bro. I'm grateful that you reached out to me that day, and looking forward to building a relationship with you.
Yes, sir. Same here. I'm looking forward to it as well. And DeAngelo, maybe someone's listening. Maybe they're in Cincinnati, they're in Arizona, another part of the country, wherever. How can we get a hold of you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Give that me at D1 Real Estate on Instagram, DeAngelo Simmons on Facebook, Success Realty Team page on Facebook, and also Steps to Success on YouTube. Make sure you follow the journey, follow the movement, and that's what we're doing.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, DeAngelo, it's been a yeah.
One thing too, real quick. D1 Real Estate 1 on Twitter. So I'll be posting on Twitter. Don't have many followers, but I believe someday somebody will, follow me on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter,
Yeah.
follow me on D1 Real Estate 1 on Twitter if you want to do that. So
There you go. We've got you on Twitter. We got you on Instagram and Facebook, and your email too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I actually I don't have an email out there, but yeah, that works. That works. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. I've learned a little bit about you, about your background, about you coming out to Arizona, taking that leap of faith, getting into the industry, and it's been a real pleasure having you on.
Man, thanks for having me, Aaron. We're gonna have to do this again.
Yes, sir. We'll talk to you later.
All right, talk soon.